I made a video a couple months ago with questions straight people were too afraid to ask gays. A couple people commented, what if I did this but with questions baby gays were too afraid to ask us older gays? So that's exactly what we're doing today. Hello and welcome back to the gay side of the internet and another video that is part of the mini series I do in Pride Month called For the Gays. So I asked you baby gays on Instagram some questions that you were too afraid to ask / you wanted to know from an older gay. And I'm hoping that this video feels like I am your older gay sister. I'm also gonna try and imagine that it is my younger self in my teenage years asking me these questions. Thank you for the questions, by the way. These are all really good. There's no way that I can respond to every single one of them. There are too many. Let's jump into it. Who is the first person you should come out to? I wanted to start with this one because I thought it would be really good to start here. My honest answer is you should come out to yourself first. I think you should be confident and comfortable with the label that you have decided fits you best before you decide to come out to other people. But I know you also like, Lauren, okay, just tell me, who should I come out to first? I think it should be someone who's really close to you and really important, and you would really like them to know something that is so deeply part of who you are in your life. So this might be your parents, it might be your mum, or it might be your best friend. You can also come out to other people when you're not sure. That is totally okay too. Is everyone friends with their exes? Is this toxic? Also, is it normal to be friends with an ex? It is a stereotype that lesbians are friends with their exes, and I think that stereotype does hold up. Groups of queer people are so small that you might end up dating someone who is within your group. If you break up, then you kind of still have to be friends. That's what happened with myself, actually. But I also think women are just easier to keep it nice. Is it toxic? I don't see it as being harmful, but I don't 100% recommend it. Especially, like, if you just break up with someone, you need to go separate ways for a while. This might be years before you can kind of come back to a friendship, unless your relationship was like short-term, sort of casual, and then maybe if it wasn't so serious, then just, yeah, I totally get it. I did say sex ed questions were allowed and I would answer them if I'm comfortable or not, so here we go. Do girls care if I'm too hairy down there when we do it? The answer is I don't think so. Women are just more accepting and more understanding. Like, we know that it's a pain in the ass to upkeep. Sometimes it can be painful to continually remove things that are supposed to be there. I think you should always do what you feel comfortable in your body. Your partner should be accepting and supportive of that. I personally don't care, but it is nice if some of it is sort of out of the way when you want to go down on someone. It helps it a little bit. I'm not saying you have to go and rip all your hair out so that you can actually go down on someone. Not what I'm saying. Still 100% possible, still fine. First time with a girl, what the hell am I supposed to do? Excellent question. I'm sure many baby gays are wondering this. In fact, even younger me was wondering this. Remove the idea that there is a first time. For me, in my first experience, there was a lot of building up to, let's say, achieving a certain level of fun, right? It was such a spread out process of seeing how much we were comfortable with doing with each other. Take it slow. Maybe it's like, okay, today we're just kissing. And then the next experience, maybe it's actually making out. And maybe after that, it's like that each tiny little bit step further. So what the hell are you supposed to do? You sort of just do what you would do on yourself, but you also ask them, does this feel good? Or can you show me what you do and what you like? And you learn from that. You learn from them. Is dating a best friend ever good? Depends. It depends. My answer is yes and no. And I'll tell you yes and I'll tell you no. Yes, it's a good idea to date your friend because when you're learning about yourself and your sexuality, you naturally fall for your best friend and they naturally fall for you. This sort of thing happens. It's a stereotype for a reason. That relationship that you have, I think, is the most safest relationship that you might ever get when you're coming to terms with that, because you already know each other really well. You're already very close and you already feel like you can tell them everything. So it makes that really wholesome and sweet. But on the other side, It's hard. I think you probably will eventually break up. What I have seen and heard and what I believe, I don't think it works out a lot of the time, but doesn't mean it wasn't worth doing. Like, to have that experience is so meaningful. My own personal experience is so meaningful that I had that. But if you do break up, then it is hard to deal with that you might be losing your friend for a little while. For me, that was heartbreaking. It sucked. It still hurts now. When you're friends, you don't think about why you might be sexually and like long-term compatible as partners, if that makes sense. I look back at my first relationship and I learnt through it what kind of person I am in a relationship, which is great. Love that. But we were not supposed to be partners long-term to raise a family sort of thing. We weren't supposed to be together. When you start dating people, you're looking for someone who can, you're looking for different bits of personality that fit with you and what you want your future to be like, or how you want to raise a family, etc., etc. A lot of things that I don't have, Girl Pal has, and that's how we come together. And also it's just nice that our relationship isn't built on friendship. I mean, we are friends, but we are lovers first, and that is why it's so different. And I don't want to break younger me's heart, but if you are personally going through this, I think you need to consider some of these things. Decide, is this someone who I like just because they are also gay, or because they are close to me because they're my friend, or is it someone who I'm actually sexually and romantically truly attracted to? And that is really hard to ask yourself, especially when you're younger too. Sometimes it is better just to stay girl pals. Did anyone notice my shirt? Introducing my new merch! We have new merch, yay! This is the Girl Pals merch. So the concept of this merch is constantly being seen as just girl pals and not as lovers. We're just two gals being pals, right? You can see the little girl pals on the front. I designed it myself. On the back it says, historians will say they were, and then I've got a list of everything that historians might have labelled them, such as historians will say they were roommates, but also housemates, spinsters, girl pals, best friends, roommates, BFFs, buddies, etc., etc. And then it says each other's dearest friend down the bottom. And then in the middle it has two hands, which this whole concept kind of looks like it's like tarot card slash magical, but if you look closely, the hands are different colors, so they are different. They're two different people, not one sort of magical hand. And the idea is the light touch is representing how soft lesbian relationships are. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this came out in particular. This is crazy to me. It looks so good. If you want to get some merch to support me and my channel, especially during Pride Month, super helpful, you can at shop.lauraandelouise.com. Use the code GALPALS for 10% off. Yay! This is a really cute one. What is it like living with a girlfriend? It is so bloody good. I say this because of gender norms. Living with another female who was brought up to look after themselves and look after the house makes living with someone a whole lot easier. Cons, there is a lot of hair all over the floor, all of the time. I'm not even joking, it's everywhere. Also, you end up sharing everything with your girlfriend anyway, like your clothes, your toiletries, your life, your space, your things, everything. So be prepared for that. It's not necessarily bad. Is sex with another woman easier because you know how a female body works / looks? Yeah, it is easier because you know what you like and you sort of try that on someone else, and if they like it or not, or they will tell you what they like, you kind of know how it works. So definitely makes it easier. How do you know if you're a top or a bottom or a switch? I honestly think that TikTok and the younger generation give this too much weight, when in reality, I don't really think it's a massive deal. It's a fun concept, just like love languages to know, like how you like to be loved and positions essentially do you prefer. But I think when you have sexy time, it is a bit of give and take. You might have things that you have a preference for. If you actually want to find out which one you are, you will know when you start having sexual experiences, like you will know what things you like. But also, if you're not up to that yet, just use your fantasy. Would you rather a girl being on top of you and telling you what to do, or would you rather be the one who tells someone else what to do and pins them down? So, or if you're like, you know what, 50% would love both those things, then switch. Like, that is as simple as I can make it. Me personally, I like when women step on my throat. Not actually, I don't actually like that. How long can it take to accept your sexuality? And is it normal to be in denial? This question's kind of like, how long is a piece of string? I mean, it's as long as it's cut, you know? It's as long as it is. It can take some people a short amount of time. It can take years. Generally speaking, I do think it takes years to really come to terms and accept it, and everything in your head sort of pieces together and you realize you are the way you are. Don't be put off with it taking a long time, because I think it does. Is it normal to be in denial? Yes. 100 million gazillion % yes. I'm pretty sure I was in denial for a long time. Not even in denial, but like oblivious to what I was feeling. I was so like blinkered. All these signs pointing to me being gay, but I was like, surely not, you know? It is something I think we all go through, whether it is a short amount of time or a big amount of time. Don't feel ashamed in feeling that way. How do you decide who would propose? I'm sure younger me wants to know this too. It depends on the relationship. It was just a conversation that me and my partner had. Did you want to be proposed to, or did you want to do the proposing, and who we think would do what and what we wanted? There's no set rule for what to do. Like, it's not a surprise, and I didn't really realize that when I was younger. Talking about getting engaged and being married it's a conversation. It's not surprising that she will propose to me or I will propose to her, but the situation or the date that it will happen will be the surprise. Stay tuned for whenever that happens, because I just don't know. What is it like when both of you are on your period at the same time? Interesting. Depends on what part of the cycle you're in, because sometimes it does sync up. If you're both having your period at the same time, it can suck because you're both just grumpy and in pain, but also then there's more sort of understanding between each other. If you're both in the middle of the cycle at the same time, then it's great. That's all I'm gonna say. It is great. Does it get easier being lesbian online, in the real world, etc.? It feels scary right now. Yes, it gets so much easier, I promise, with the world's acceptance over time. Even in just how long have I been out? Almost 10 years. It has changed a lot, and that is very, very comforting to know. So the world gets easier, but also your understanding of yourself is better, so you become more confident and it's less scary to do. There are still situations where you might not want to. Totally fine. That's always gonna happen, but it won't be scary forever. I, 15, want to read lesbian romance books, but I don't want my parents to know what it's about. What can I do? There are definitely books out there that are safe to read. Definitely scope out whether a book has anything on the cover that might indicate lesbian relationships, and if it doesn't, then it's something you could ask your parents to buy or order for you. If it does, or if it's really subtle, then it might be something that you can buy with your own money, but you know, if you leave it on your bedside table face up, like if no one's gonna pick it up and read into it, then they won't know. That might be an option depending on your situation. My girlfriend has made a couple of videos on my channel going through books, and every time we go through these lesbian books or LGBT books, she says whether the cover is safe or not safe to have out on display. Have a scour through the videos that Girl Pal has made and see if you find anything that you like. Am I asexual if I really want to kiss girls but scared and reluctant at the idea of any sex? I'm answering this because younger me definitely would have been struggling with this one. Early in my journey to figuring myself out, I did think I was asexual and I couldn't really see myself having sex with women. I could have seen myself kissing girls, but I definitely knew that I was not interested in doing that with men. It kind of sounds to me like you haven't kissed girls yet, but when you do, just stick with that for a bit, and then maybe slowly over time, just see whether it naturally progresses to anything more. Remember that at any point in time, you can stop doing what you're doing, so that hopefully will take some pressure off you. It is always okay to just stop, and anyone who you're with should understand that too. And you can also just tell them, I'm a little bit scared to do anything more. I'm not sure if I want to. They should be understanding of that. And I'm gonna stop there because there was so many questions. I cannot get through them all, but if you want a part 2, let me know. I will only make it if you all scream in the comments. And don't forget to check out merch. Massive thank you if you choose to get some for you and your Girl Pal. Remember, 10% off with Girl Pals. And I will see you next week in another gay video. Till then, stay safe. Bye!